Okay, so the Nuggets went into Minnesota and they said, you guys better not forget who we are. And that's not just to the Wolves, but that's to the basketball world. And I feel like besides Ant being a madman, and we'll give him his praises because what did he finish with? 40 something points, or whatever, just making all the tough shots, making tough drives and everything. That felt like basically a perfect game from the Nuggets. I mean, Gordon made every single shot, or almost every single shot, that the Wolves dared him to, whether it was in the corner, whether it was in the dunker spot, whether it was kind of in like the in-between of the corner and the dunker, where he's like cutting in for like a putback when Gobert's helping off of him, or a couple of fades over Gobert. Now, I did think they had Gordon. It felt like it was a little more all over the place in a good way for Gordon, where sometimes dunker spot, but a little more like on the corner in this game where he's making those ones, or even bringing the ball up and then from there, like flipping it to Jokic or Murray, and then they can get into their two-man game a lot of the time on the empty side. And it did feel like they found that as a real weapon versus the Wolves in Game 3, as it is against pretty much everybody. But yeah, I thought the Nuggets, and especially Jokic's understanding of just the spacing and where Gobert is on the floor helping off of Gordon and all that was like so good in this game. Now, Rudy did end up on Jokic more in this game than in other ones, it felt like, whether it be through switching or just being on him to start a possession. But yeah, so you've got plays where, I think this was the first half, where it's like Jokic has the ball in the post, whether it's on Gobert, whether it's on Naz Reid, and maybe it was Gordon screening for him beforehand to like get, like a Rudy switch or whatever. And then, Jokic might direct like Christian Brown, hey, cut baseline, get out of here. Let me just have the entire floor to myself. And the entire time he's backing down, he's like going at it at kind of an angle, because I think if he goes like more towards the baseline and less so towards the free throw line, which is what he did on some of these, it felt like that was going to be easier for the Wolves to then bring help, because they had plays where they're leaving like Reggie Jackson wide open in the opposite corner off a Jokic post up. And so he's like, let me like kind of shade it more towards the free throw line. So the help is like it's there, but it's not as aggressive as it can be otherwise, because Jokic just has the entire floor to operate. And it's just hook shots, it's turnaround jumpers, it's one or two up fakes, it's drawing the foul. And this is what makes Jokic and the Nuggets so great. It's not just the talent, it's not just the difficult shot making, it's also the understanding of spacing and what you're doing defensively and the whole thing. And then you add to that, like, to open the second half, they ran, I think, like 3 or 4 straight Jokic-Murray actions where, like, one time Cat, I couldn't tell if his goal was more so to just stay with Jokic and just do a quick little swipe at Murray and then just hope that Rudy's got a handle in the back line, or if he was supposed to, like, really jump out to Murray and then he just didn't get there. Regardless, Murray gets by him, and then Gobert rotates over, but it felt like maybe just because the threat of Gordon was making him think a little bit more, he was like a second later than he normally would be to contest the Murray layup. It was still a good contest, but like Murray did finish around him. And then they ran that same action again, and the other time it was just Cat being very aggressive going at Murray, and then there it's just the fadeaway on the baseline, and he makes that shot at least once a game, it feels like. The Nuggets also did some good stuff where, like, if Gobert is helping off of Gordon in one corner, then Jokic and Murray will run the action like on the opposite wing, where Rudy's still going to be there. You still got to deal with him, but you might have like a second or two longer for Jokic to get to the floater or whatever it is. Like that was that one floater late where Murray hit him on the bounce pass, where Cat was in like kind of a typical dropping back defense, I guess. So yeah, also huge on Christian Brown for making that 3 when Gordon swung it to him off of the Jokic-Murray action in the middle of the floor. That was the Nuggets offense, man. Also, Justin Holiday was big. On the other end, so listen, we got to give Anthony Edwards a lot of props for this one. I mean, so many of his shots in this one were like, I'm dribbling up court and I'm going to shoot this. It might be a pull-up 3. I might get one screen to like go at a Jamal Murray switch, and then I'm going to take the 3 in like the 1 second he's coming over. It might be just I'm going to beat somebody in a one-on-one, hitting Aaron Gordon with like pump fakes or up and unders or whatever. I mean, it was every possible thing for Ant in this game. And while that does not equal a win for the Wolves, like we got to acknowledge what that was. As far as the rest of it, I thought defensively, Denver, they did their thing. I mean, they're a damn good defensive team, right? So, I mean, you had possessions where Gordon is guarding Cat in the post, and Cat is really trying to back him down, but he's basically got no shot. Now, Cat was making it pretty known that he felt like he was being fouled on some of them. So, for whatever that means, you also had, like, Cat going at MPJ in the post, because MPJ ended up on Cat a little bit more often in the second half is what it felt like. It didn't feel like every single play, but a little bit more. And then you had, I think, like Murray coming over on the double or whatever. They're like blocking Cat there. The one time Cat committed the offensive foul on MPJ when he was going at him in the post, where he had the off arm. Like, I mean, Cat's just got to be great. I know that's obvious, but it is what it is. I think Jokic defensively in this game, I remember he had a good switch on Mike Conley that was good. Another contest at the rim on Conley that was good. Of course, just his general, like, go to the level of the screen on screen actions where it felt like he was mostly fine in this game. And then the Wolves also had just a couple of really rough stretches in the first half. Of course, they had that disastrous like last 30 seconds where they double Jokic in the post, kicks it to KCP for a cross-court three. Then it's, turnover, MPJ dunk, and then the Jamal Murray half-court shot, my goodness. And then before that, they had that scoring drought that went from like late first to about midway second quarter or so, where, well, after looking at my notes, it was basically a summary of the stuff I talked about earlier, like Cat not being able to score on Gordon in the post, or, well, there was one random play where Jaden just kind of lost the ball and Gordon got it on a turnover, so I guess, I didn't say that already. So yeah, man, we got a 2-2 series, which is not shocking if you would have predicted it before the series began, like after Game 4, but the way that we got here was certainly something. So now Game 5 in Denver. Look, my original pick was Nuggets in 7, so I am not going to act like the Wolves are done in this series, okay? But it does feel like that Game 2 where they made the Nuggets look horrible. That feels like a million years ago now. So yeah, we did have a Knicks-Pacer game, and I'm going to be honest, I was not home to watch the beginning of the game, and then when I got home, it was a 30-point game. So, you know what? Let me know what happened in that game. The only thing that I can guess based on reading tweets and stuff is that eventually the fact that the Knicks have just lost, 50% of their team just caught up to them. Still, shout out to Indiana. That's a 2-2 series, and yeah. Also, yes, the lottery did happen. The Hawks have the first pick. The Pistons fans, keep your heads up. I'll probably do a video on it in a couple of days.